Hey ratbags, it's Jade. Welcome to a Sons of the Forest news video. Today we're going to go over the hotfix that has finally added key mapping for keyboard and mouse. No longer holding your stupid bag up in front of you to pick an item for a win. Yes, and we're also going to go over what to expect with updates. And I guess the reaction, how you guys are feeling, the reviews, the huge amount of players that have actually bought the game, a bona fide success, 2 million copies sold on day one. It's absolutely phenomenal what Sons of the Forest has done. But is it everything promised? We'll go into that a little bit. I've completed the game now. I'm just about finishing up my review and you'll see that on Thursday as well. So if you leave a like, make sure you subscribe for the best in survival games news and guides. And if you want to see me play the game live, go and check out my live stream channel, JPG 100 Days, where you'll see me playing Sons of the Forest every single day for the next few weeks. Let's go. Okay, hotfix 2. This is the second one, so you'll know that the updates, we know when they're going to come. There's a countdown literally on the main menu. They did this with the original game, and it's nice, it's refreshing to know when it's happening. You don't have to rely on stupid videos from YouTubers like me saying, when is update? What they don't tell you is what is in the update. I think until that update comes, we will see a variety of smaller hotfixes to help with crashing, anything like that. And that update won't be content. I can't imagine it's going to be a bunch of stuff added in. It will be more quality of life stuff, more fixing some of the bugs and issues that have crept up since launch. This hotfix is really just something they've really decided just to put in because they saw such a huge feedback loop about it. Hotkey system for keyboard and mouse. Assign hotkeys in inventory by pressing numerical keys 0 through 9 on hovered items in inventory. So they've added a hint for the loading screen as well, so you know. They've also improved the cutscene skip prompt. It will now appear briefly at start or show when common skip keys are pressed, e.g. space. If you didn't know, you could skip the scenes by holding the S button. And no, it doesn't affect exactly where you spawn. I've tested it a bunch of times as far as I can tell. They've also added a heavy attack tutorial to the loading prompts. Some of you might not realise you can do a heavy attack. And now back, i.e. escape, will now close your tutorial book, your construction book, and the grab bag interactions. So let's move on to the reaction of the launch. One of the most hyped up survival games going. Has it hit its mark? 414,000 players have actually been on at one point. They literally sold 2 million copies of the game on launch day. A variety of problems in everyone logging in. We even managed to break Steam as a whole, as there was significant problems for a while. Given they sold that many and it was on about 200,000 plus players on that Friday, I really do think and estimate they've probably sold close to maybe 4 million copies by now. That puts it up there nearly with the success of Valheim, which ended up selling 10 million copies in its first sort of 9 months, maybe a year. So far outselling the original. That peak of players beats any kind of survival game you've ever played before. At the moment, it's sitting on an 81% positive review score. But of course, we could give the excuse and what people will rightly might say that it is early access. Clear to me there is a ton of stuff missing. My personal opinion, I do feel like the devs should have communicated a little bit more about the state of the game and what to expect with the early access launch. Didn't help that they only really confirmed that it would be early access 2 weeks before the game came out. They did mention in a few interviews that they would announce how they would actually deliver Sons of the Forest near the time. That was about a year and a half ago in a few interviews. But from the way that things have been worded, there is a lot missing in the game. I'm enjoying it immensely. The building system is fantastic. As you'll see in my review, more of my opinion. I absolutely love the game, but it is polarizing in many ways, as there's so much stuff that I kind of expected to be there. I don't think I'm being overhyped or over demanding, just based on what the devs have said in their few interviews they've done with IGN and maybe what I've listed on the early access store. What I can say is I do firmly believe they'll make really good use of the early access period, and hopefully they'll take on board players' feedback. They'll add a ton more stuff to it. So to me, I'm guessing that's why so many people are maybe struggling a little bit and maybe not giving it as good a review as the original. It's clearly not finished, doesn't have the full story or lore, and it's definitely missing some basics that I would hopefully start to see added soon. But 81%, that's still bloody good. And again, higher than a whole host of other games that have launched in early access, especially survival. For $30, £25, I still think Sons of the Forest is absolutely worth it. It's the most stunning, prettiest survival game I've ever seen, and I'd probably put it up there with the best in AAA in terms of environments and how things look. It does get a bit samey after a while, the forest. Definitely want to see a bit more variety. I know they don't want to do anything too outlandish, but the lighting, just the actual trees, the density of it, it really does make me feel like I'm in that forest. Going through Reddit and going through various different posts, I know there's a whole ton of stuff though that you guys desperately want to see. One of the biggest things I want to see added is a creative mode. If you don't know, there's no creative mode added once you complete the game. That was in the original. I always thought it was a bit daft and a bit rubbish that you had to complete the game to get creative mode. Nowadays, so many games will give you that option, or the cheats enable to do so. But Sons of the Forest doesn't have that. It doesn't have dedicated servers either. We got multiplayer this time. It only launched multiplayer 6 months after its launch back in the day for the original. But times have changed, and most survival games now, if they are planning to have multiplayer, you really want it in at the start. It's only like the really low level games that are launching that don't have that actual feature in early access because they're super indie. So what kind of things have I been seeing from you guys? Well, again, more stability with the AI. The companions themselves are kind of glitchy. Generally, they work, but they can be seemingly more pain than they're worth, with either Kelvin getting stuck in certain places or Virginia seemingly just not listening or paying attention to the mutants that are destroying your base at any one point. I love the concept of them, and I'm sure with a bit of work they'll get and improve and be better, but right now they are a little bit buggy. There are substantial crashes and issues with things falling through the world. And there's a number of bugs that I've encountered where it's just crashed. Whenever I'm trying to do a certain animation or do certain things, I've had to reload a save. Absolutely, I do think they need to make a way to revive Kelvin or Virginia. The devs explicitly stated that in multiplayer, at least anyway, you would be able to, every time you start a new session, they would come back to stop trolls from killing your NPC and then pissing off. But that has not been the case. I've seen countless comments in my own videos from players stating that it's currently not the case. Someone has accidentally or on purpose killed your NPC and they've not respawned next time you logged in. That needs to be checked. I also would like to definitely see actually an option for single player, or just make it an option that you can't kill them at all. Another more serious issue is that private servers seemingly being able to be joined by anyone. I've seen a number of streamers complain about this. They've been harassed in streams by people joining. It does look like there is some sort of security failure with that. So that's the kind of thing I would expect to be fixed by the time the update goes live. Private worlds only to be joined by actual people you've invited. And the other stuff like creative mode and all that, well, I don't see any of them improvements coming just yet. It does feel like many of the systems they spoke about just aren't in the game yet, or not really making themselves known. The ideas and religion aspects they kind of had a big chat with IGN about are just seemingly not there. Maybe it takes a while to flesh out, and maybe you've got to be paying attention. But if they're that obscure a system that players aren't noticing, then maybe it just isn't that great a system. Absolutely, to me, it does need a whole ton more different biome diversity. I do want to see a huge improvement on the caves. The original caves were super scary, super confusing, whereas these ones kind of all seem very similar. You know you're going to come across a whole host of the creepies, and there isn't that much verticality in them. Yes, you'll have long-winded walks down, but I kind of missed the ropes. It gave a sense of fear when you was climbing down a rope into scariness, and that is just completely gone in this one. The game definitely doesn't feel scary. Maybe I've got used to it and hardened because I've recently only just completed the original, but I am a scaredy cat still. I just definitely haven't been as scared playing this one. More comments I've seen across the interwebs is that you want to see more wildlife, more dangerous wildlife as well. The idea that the cannibals are the alpha predator kind of stands, but it would be nice to see maybe wolves roaming the mountains, alligators and stuff like in the original back near some of the rivers. And we desperately need some sort of water mutant or some sort of enemy in the waters other than just sharks. What happened to the killer whales as well? I guess we all presume killer whales would be in the game properly, but it looks like the carcasses are about as good as you can get. The building system is phenomenal, but some players are upset that missing stuff isn't there from the original. Things to help as well, like the sled. You have got the plastic sled that you can create, the 3D one, but it's not for pulling logs. It's only for you to actually go down hills and stuff or down the river. It's a kind of buggy, glitchy bit of a mess. It does work sometimes, but other players are reporting it doesn't even work in the snow. Also, I've seen a fair few comments saying overspawns of creatures in caves, like 30 of the fingers in maybe one of the caves that you need to go through. Way too many. Obviously, I think they must have seen some of the reviews stating where the hell are some hotkeys. The immersion of pulling out your bag every time just wasn't cutting it, and they've responded to that quickly. With these updates apparently coming out every 2 weeks maybe, I'm sure we're going to see a huge improvement, and I'm sure the review scores are going to go higher. I think right now this game is probably going to be in early access a lot longer than 6 to 8 months. I think we're going to be looking at another year at least if they want to get the game in a greater state as the original was. We need more variety in the creepies, need to see actual results from the religion system or the leadership system, and a few minor tweaks that you'll see more in my review about weather systems and stuff like that, making it more opaque about what options you have to create and customize your own world. Give us actual proper details, exactly how long and what each slider or option does. There's definitely some improvements there. I'm glad they've added that. In 100 different ways, it's better than the original. It looks better, it's more expansive, it's trying new things. And then in about 50 different ways, it's kind of worse. I'll obviously be playing the game a lot, and I'm going to be delivering you guys the news and takes about the updates and stuff and what to expect. So there we go, folks. I will go through the actual changes with proper gameplay once the next big update is here. But any hotfixes, they'll be done in shorter news videos like this. Till then, please go and subscribe to my new channel if you want to see me actually conquer Sons of the Forest in 100 days, complete every single cave and try and get every single item. I've just got up to day 20 and it's just started to snow. You find a link to that channel in the comment section down below. I'm pretty much streaming every day for the foreseeable future.